Give that back, you little shit!
Damn kids always stealing my magic mirrors that repel evil spirits!
Now Miku gets to play a darker version of hide and seek to get it back.
I cannot believe I'm spending what's possibly the last day on Earth playing tag with a bunch of ghost children. A bunch of cheating ghost children, by the way. I can't move through walls. We need ground rules.
A ghost child runs past Miku, and as she tries to follow him, she hears something behind her that's definitely not a child. This spirit is known as Blinded. She was a young woman who was part of the Himuro family and was the last maiden to participate in a blinding ritual before the calamity. Let me show you the mask the maiden is forced to wear for the ritual. Yup. Oh, great. You know, at least you only come across Long John twice before he just kinda fucks off to the void. I wish the same can be said about Broken Neck. Miku follows a hint a finder picture revealed of a well and heads back outside to the backyard to give Samara a visit. This little girl, just called Girl in the Well, was one of the 3 children that went missing during the Monokata family's stay in the mansion. While playing demon tag, the girl was hiding behind the well when Long Arms came out of it and drug her down into the darkness. Something I should have mentioned earlier is every night chapter, rooms and areas change. Areas that were not accessible in the first night will be so on the second or third. One room we couldn't go into the first night is now where we need to go. Miku follows the new narrow and winding path, trailing behind the spirit of her brother, until she finds herself climbing deeper and deeper underground. She reaches a large heavy set of doors with the spirit of Monokata standing at its side. The door is sealed, so Miku returns to the mansion after killing and robbing Blinded of her matches.
I agree, Miku. Burn all of the ground. I bet those ghosts won't see that coming. Or just light some candles to get a dirty old scroll. Fine, do that too.
Now it's time to head back to the doll room and curb stomp the crawling girl and put the scroll on the secret door and chase down the thief.
Give it to me! You know I'm trying to actively break this curse, right? You're really working against your best interests here, kid.
This little boy is known as Clock Boy and was the last of the 4 children to go missing. He was hiding behind the old clock during the last round of demon tag when Long Arms dragged him into the wall to his death.
I have to give the mirror to that man.
Are you talking about Mr. Takamine or Monokata? Cause I got some bad news for you, kid. Miku gets the Holy Mirror piece back and also finds a little note written by the boy, wondering why Makoto is taking so long to find him. Oh, and if she likes him. Oh.
This is long-haired woman, and she's proud of her long, beautiful hair. That's literally it. That's all that's in her wiki. I know not every ghost is going to have a detailed background, but if it's literally just going to be a sentence, maybe nothing at all.
I will say it is a little weird the least interesting ghost had its own cutscene when more interesting characters like Broken Neck just didn't. Continuing back to the main living room, Miku hears a koto being played. Miku comes across the folklorist again, searching for his beloved daughter. In his old study, or maybe a small library, you read a diary page written by Monokata about his research and how odd the mansion was with mechanisms all over the house and many places not on the floor plans. He's also shocked the locals aren't super stoked to talk about what happened in the mansion.
It's so weird, right? People usually love talking about mass murders that happen in their town or cities.
There's a lot of back and forth looking for talismans that unlock doors, and these same door puzzles in this night chapter.
They're in the whole game, but I feel in this chapter they're especially everywhere, and after a while of running back and forth, it could start feeling a little samey.
Walking into the koto room, Miku sees photos littering the floor. These photos were the ones Yae took throughout the mansion when she started to lose her mind.
They're exactly the same as the ones Mom took. Were they taken with this camera?
She finds an old bronze key in the same room that's used to unlock a box in the study, which leads to a cutscene showing the folklorist arriving at Humura Mansion. During their stay, Monokata discovered the blinding ritual mask was the key to open the giant door under Humura Mansion. Inside the box, there's a research scrap of paper about a reflection mask that reflects the true nature of the person wearing it. The reflection mask was worn by the Humura family master during the rituals. Unsurprisingly, when he wore the mask at the Doom ritual, it resembled a demon. Miku follows Monokata out to the observation deck and sees Ye's spirit once again swinging from a noose in the cherry atrium. This reminds Miku that her mother committed suicide the same way after her powers became too much to bear. Miku was the one who found her. I guess now is the time I should reveal that little connection I mentioned Miku and Mafuyu had with the Monokatas. Well, Mikoto is the only survivor to escape the mansion. She grew up, married, and had a daughter, Miyuki Hinisaki. If you don't know who that is Miku and Mafuyu's mother.
Mom!
Yes? Coming out of the vision, Miku sees Ye's ghost left something behind that is definitely very much totally not a trap. Much like Miku finding her mother, Monokata discovered Ye's body.
This leads him to believe that the camera is to blame and there's something wrong with the whole mansion, which... Yeah, no shit.
Ye Kurosawa was actually supposed to be a ritualistic strangling sacrifice with her twin sister Sei. They were born in a village called All Gods Village, later known as the Lost Village.
Ye was against performing the rituals. She actually said it was cruel, which, yeah, it really is. So she convinces her twin to run away with her, even though her twin wanted to perform the ritual. Oh, hey. I was wondering where that went.
While escaping, Sei fell on purpose thinking Ye would come back for her and return to the village, but she did not. She left her sister and wandered lost in the woods. Ryozo Monokata eventually found her with her memories gone.
That's a very abridged version of the story. I'm leaving a lot of stuff out because a lot of this takes place during the sequel, which I'll get more into in that video.
This is the blinding ritual I mentioned earlier. The priest jams the blinding mask on the chosen maiden's face, gouging out her eyes.
My eyes!
I don't think she's reacting like most of us would.
So this weird-ass ritual is done because the blood covering the mask is used to open the demon mouth passage to the ritual site. The chosen maiden is required to play a much darker version of the demon tag game with the children of the mansion, in pain, with blood seeping from her face. I don't see how this is fun for any child. Well, anyway, the first child caught will become the next blinded maiden, and the last one caught would be the chosen maiden for the strangling ceremony. Either these kids grew up in a relatively fucked up environment and didn't quite understand what that entailed, or they knew nothing of the ceremonies when playing the game.
Honestly, I think if I was one of those kids, I would find the hardest to reach spot to hide, and then the second the first kid was found, I'd pop out immediately. I'm like, oh man, I've been caught. Shucks, I guess I can't be part of the blinding ritual either. Better luck next time, am I right, guys?
There's only 2 of us.
Right.
Miku accidentally knocks the mask, alerting the priest to her presence.
They sick blinded on Miku, but at this point you've had to fight her like 6 times, so...
Miku finds the Mask of Reflection in a large worship area with an altar at the front of the room.
Well, Monokata seems to take umbrage with Miku just, going through all of his stuff, and he attacks her.
I don't know why he doesn't get a fight intro cutscene like every other side character. Even the long-haired woman who loves her beautiful hair got one, and she's barely a character.
I really wish we had more flashbacks or diary entries about this family.
He became a folklorist because of all the terrifying things he witnessed as a teen in the All Gods Village from the sequel. He helped save Ye from being sacrificed and was tangentially connected to the man who created the camera obscura.
His family is interesting is what I'm trying to say, and judging by what we were privy to, their time in the mansion sounds deliciously dark, and I wish we would have gotten more of it.
After Miku finishes beating up an old man, she returns to the mask room to put the Mask of Reflection on the door that unlocks the blinding ritual room and retrieves the blinding mask.
It was a mistake.
I mean, I genuinely love the layout of this mansion. If I had crazy billionaire money, I'd probably make a recreation of it. Well, like, a nice version of it.
The door is finally opening.
With the mask in hand, Miku makes her way back down to the demon's mouth.
It's another piece of the mirror.
I mean, it didn't work out for Monokata or anybody else who tried this, but I have a broken mirror. Miku, you really need to stop doing that slow turnaround thing. It ain't working out for you. It's just like, maybe if I turn real slow, the thing that's behind me will get bored and leave.
This ends the second night chapter, which brings us into the third, the calamity. The chapter opens with quick scenes of what happened after the ritual failed, and Miku wakes up only to see she's been alley-ooped out of Kide's lair.
Not learning her lesson the first time, Miku just goes back in the cave because what else you gonna do?
As Miku runs down the pathway, a large rumbling occurs. She comes to a dead end where the rocks and debris block her path.
Wow, Kide really said stay out, and Miku is super not listening.
My friend. Don't you recognize me?
With no way forward, Miku backtracks but is stopped by the ghost girl pointing at a book on the floor. In the journal scrap, a moon shrine is mentioned. This shrine, located under a well, was where the maidens who were sacrificed would purify themselves with the moonlight shining from the opening of the well. In order to get to this moon shrine, Miku will have to find the path to it located in the basement.
Of course, there's another terrifying destination to traverse. I mean, I guess it can't get any worse than the Cave of Death and Despair, located underneath a mansion hidden away in the middle of a dense forest. They were starting to run low on ghost ideas, weren't they? All hail the glow cloud! Oh really? That warranted a yelp from you.
In a mansion full of hostile ghosts that make it a point to try to remove your head from your body, huh? So you guessed it. We're now following another spirit through the mansion while solving puzzles to proceed.
You know, I just realized this game can get a little repetitive.
But, I think this puzzle's a cool one. Miku uses ceremonial ropes on statues that make rope marks appear around their neck, which unlocks an altar with a key item used to unlock a door elsewhere in the mansion. Look, everybody, it's Lord Himuro! Say hi, everybody! Oh, he looks mad. Lord Himuro was a family member of Kide, though I couldn't find specifics of the familial relationship. After the ritual failed, he was corrupted by the malice that poured from the Hellgate and went on a murder spree. When he came to his senses and realized what he had done, he committed suicide out of guilt. The wording of the Mask of Reflection wiki made me chuckle here. As I've said before, the Mask of Reflection is used to see a person's true soul. Obviously, in the Lord's case, it was a demon, quote-unquote, which heavily implies that he was evil to begin with.
I mean, we've either read about or flat out saw what the ritual entailed. Like, we got it. Message received.
Finally, Miku finds where the entrance of the moon cave is, but unfortunately she can't open the hidden pathway without special items carried by the 4 rope pullers and Lord Himuro's seal. I bet you can guess what's on the agenda now, huh?
That's right. Time to find the ghosts of the rope priest, beat them up and rob them.
Kide, poor girl. It's too bad, but it must be sealed.
It's a real aw shucks attitude about murdering a young woman after basically keeping her secluded her entire life.
Kide, why did you become attached to this world? You'll only suffer.
Yeah, possibly getting your heart broken by some guy is worse than that. It's worse than having your head and your limbs pulled from your body. Getting dumped is worse than that. This ghost isn't really important to the story or at all, really. I just think he's really cool looking.
He was a monk who came to the mansion to try to exorcise the ghost, and, well, kinda obvious how that worked out for him.
Funny enough, I have never come across this ghost, and the only reason I know about it is because I saw it on somebody else's playthrough on YouTube.
After Miku defeats the 4 rope priests, obtaining the Master Seal in the process, it's time to enter the moon cave via the hidden entrance under the altar. The mirror must have a silent alarm that alerts Kide, and she shows up and chases Miku to the top where the little girl saves her.
We need to hurry. Please make it stop.
Yup. If you haven't figured it out already, the little girl that's been helping Miku this whole time is actually part of Kide.
This leads us to the last chapter in Night, Kide.
Who are you?
Again with the pointless cryptic shit. I wonder if this curse could have been broken like years ago if baby Kide was just a little more direct.
It's not explained why she can't be of any real help besides pointing. If it was established she couldn't speak because of the curse or whatever, I'd give this plot point some slack, but she can.
We've heard her speak, so it's a little annoying that she flat out refuses. Ooh, it is a good thing she knew how to both read sheet music and play the koto.
Yeah, if it were me, the ghost would have to be waiting for a while.
Go tell that. I'm having trouble having sympathy for someone who's literally trying to murder me.
Once out of the passageway, she finds herself in a room with a cell.
This tiny room was where Kide was imprisoned for 10 years.
At 7-ish years old, a young girl is chosen to become the sacrificial rope shrine maiden. She's isolated from the world and locked in a cell for 10 years. She can't form bonds, so no friends, no family, no pets, no nothing. This is because her soul needs to be free of worldly attachments. She has to want and be willing to die in order for her blood to be considered pure enough to strengthen ropes that hold a door to the land of the dead closed. After 10 years, the blood is weakened and requires another sacrifice. It's a cruel cycle where even before the current rope maiden is sacrificed, there's already another sacrifice lined up and locked away for the next ritual.
So let's get into the event that caused the ritual to fail and started all of this.
Months before the ritual, Homura Mansion receives a visitor. This handsome young man was permitted to wander the courtyard gardens, to which is kind of odd considering this family had a teenage sacrifice locked in the attic. Notice that he looks a lot like Mafuyu. This was the first time Kide saw him, as her cell's window overlooked the courtyard. The second time, he noticed her and waved, and Kide instantly fell in love.
I mean, the girl didn't have any love shown to her, and the only contact with the outside world was one servant that they eventually murdered to maintain the secrecy of the ritual, which makes even less sense that they would let an outsider just kind of wander the area. I mean, can you really blame her that a simple wave made her fall head over heels in love with the guy?
According to Kide's diaries, they began to spend time together. The outsider would let her out of her cell,
which he didn't find alarming for some reason.
You know, it's not clear if he knew she was the intended sacrifice or even knew of it, but still, you think he'd have questions. Well, after that weirdness, they'd have conversations about the flowers and the outside world that led to a mutual attraction.
This is a big no-no for rope shrine maidens.
As you can imagine, after finding love with this man, Kide no longer wanted to die. She knew what her role was to be in the ritual, but she felt she could no longer complete it after finding love and joy in life. After priests discover the two, Kide is locked back in her cell and the outsider disappears. The priests tell Kide he left, but didn't specify it was going to be in a body bag.
Yeah, Kide finds out and is grief-stricken, but the ritual is performed anyway, and it all goes fine and dandy like cotton candy. The end.
As Miku begins to follow baby Kide, grown Kide appears and chases Miku down until she just kind of gives up.
Yeah, that's kind of an ongoing theme in Fatal Frame games. Like, the main antagonist really wants you dead, but like, they're not gonna follow you through 2 different rooms. Come on.
Miku returns to the moon cave where the mummified torso of the first rope maiden was, placing Kide's hairpin in front of it, which unlocks the door that leads to the ritual room.
I get at this point that they did not have a backup plan for the ritual, but they had to have known that this was going to fail.
I kind of feel that something as important as keeping the land of the dead from overtaking the world, you'd have a plan B. Welp, they performed the ritual, thankfully not showing what the ritual actually entailed, and with the tainted ropes they attempt to seal the demon gate, and surprise, surprise, the ropes are too weak because it's got will to live blood on it, so they snap, break the holy mirror, open the gate, and crop dust the crowd and the entire mansion with malice from the land of the dead. The head of the Himuro family, being in the very front when this happened, became corrupted with the malice and went around liberating people's heads from their bodies.
Mafuyu!
Deeper in the cave, Miku finds Mafuyu in a trance-like state, being held by Kide before she merges with him and the final fight with her begins.
I love Kide's design.
There's something about a malevolent being having way too many limbs and long hair that just freaks me the hell out. Like that spider chick from The Evil Within. Oh god, I can't with that thing. Why does she have a normal looking face? After Miku hits Kide with some powerful shots a few times, the camera obscura explodes, knocking Miku down.
It's the last piece of the mirror.
Sure, why wouldn't it be in the camera obscura? With the mirror finally together, Miku places it in the recess it belonged in, blasting the malice out of Kide, who returns to her original self, releasing Mafuyu in the process.
Mafuyu! Thank goodness.
Yeah, emoting relief is too much effort. I agree, Miku.
Baby Kide appears for the last time to chastise Kide before disappearing.
Don't forget your duty.
Thanks, baby Kide, you really were kind of useless. Kide binds herself to the ropes holding the gate closed. Because there won't be any more sacrifices, she's the last rope maiden.
That means she gets to suffer for all eternity while keeping the demon gate closed. How fun for her.
Leave this gate to me. The rest of you, hurry and escape.
But what about you?
I must stop the calamity, or else it will happen again.
At this point, you can get one of 2 endings, only one, of course, being canon. First, the non-canon ending.
Mafuyu, come on!
Miku and Mafuyu escape, witnessing the souls of the trapped float up to paradise.
Ever since that day, we stopped seeing things that other people don't see.
But who the hell likes that happy everybody survives ending? Let's see what really happened.
Miku beckons Mafuyu to flee, but
Miku. I must stay.
Mafuyu chooses to stay with Kide so she will not be alone and without hope while fulfilling the painful duty of keeping the malice at bay. This means he'll die, but his soul will remain with her for all eternity.
That's quite a noble sacrifice for both of them.
I mean, it's kind of beautiful, willing to die to stay by Kide's side so she won't be alone in all of her suffering.
As long as she is not left hopeless, I wish to be by her side.
Miku awakens outside of the mansion and watches the free souls finally escape.
Ever since that day, I stopped seeing things that other people don't see.
Well, that's not true, and maybe they just weren't expecting to make a sequel or at least bring Miku back.
She does eventually come back, but not until the third game. I'll get to that eventually. I'll just have to review 8 Scarecrow movies before I'm allowed to. On the plus side, North America finally got an English translated copy of Fatal Frame 4 this year with its great controls and all. But other than a re-release of the 5th game in 2021, the series has been rather silent.
I absolutely adore this game series, and it's such a bummer it's been basically shoved into a closet since 2014.
Now, Tecmo has stated if interest was there could be more Fatal Frame games in the future.
Translation, maybe if we sell enough copies of the 4th and 5th game on Switch, we'll consider making another one.
That said, I think if we got anything, it wouldn't be a new game. It'll probably be a remaster of the Fatal Frame 2 remake on the Wii, which was originally only released in Japan and Europe. Still, there may be hope with all the remakes of classic horror games that have either come out or are coming out in the near future.
Tecmo might hop on that bandwagon and give us the remake this game deserves.
Mafuyu, thank goodness.